Welcome to The Career Musician, where we help you get gigs, keep gigs, and go beyond the gig to create a legit music career. If you've ever struggled to get pro-level recordings in your home studio, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to show you how I transformed my home studio. However, I didn't have to sacrifice any quality. With the right frame of reference as to why we do certain things, you can use the amount of space you have or even lack thereof to your advantage. Now look, anyone can buy a laptop, a decent mic, some free or cheap software, and get to work recording. But there's a difference between having some gear and knowing how to really use it to generate pro quality productions. And by the way, stick around for a free gift if you're new to home recording, because I got something special for you. It's a resource that'll help you get started and set you in the right direction. Plus, if you want to take your recordings to the next level and really level up all of your productions, check out our course, Pro Level Sessions from Home, where I break down the exact techniques that I and other top session musicians that I've worked with, we have used these techniques for over 3 decades to create high quality professional recordings from home and on the go. Now let's dive in and let's make your studio sound amazing. Hey, welcome to Nomad's place, my studio. Come on in, check it out. Okay, so this is my room. It's actually a guest house behind the actual house. And we kind of lucked out. We're renting here, but it turned out to be a really good situation. Thank you to Lola, my wife. She found this place. Okay, so what I did was quarantine each section off. So I made sections for different purposes. And I'll show you what I mean. Let's start here to my left, your right, the acoustic corner. So if you come over here, I put a nice little rug on the floor, and this whole corner, obviously, is filled up with guitars. Now, a question I get all the time is, Nomad, why do you have so many guitars? Well, to be honest with you, when you do music for film and TV and video games and all different sorts of multimedia and different gigs and different, sessions and whatnot, you need different tones, different sounds, right? So I have everything from a 6-string mandolin, a soprano ukulele, a flamenco guitar, charango from South America. This one is special. This is my father's guitar. When I have pictures of him and I, actually one of the pictures is an Ethos, the Career Musician's Code, the book, of him playing this and me kind of peering over his shoulder. So this is a very special guitar. It's a Takamine, kind of a chocolate finish, and it's a copy of an old Martin. Now, I have to say, my prize acoustic is the McPherson. I love McPherson guitars. I've been endorsing McPhersons since the early 2000s, and actually, I was on the American Idol tour in 2005 with Carrie Underwood. That was the year that she was the winner, and I got her endorsement, her hookup with McPherson guitars on tour, because I was playing it every night, and she's like, man, I love that guitar. So we started to let her play mine, and then sure enough, McPherson, picked her up as an artist, and bam, there you have it. Now, if you're saying, man, that's really cool, but I don't have that kind of space, it's okay. If you want to do this kind of thing, if you are a guitarist, a string player, then it's okay if you just keep all the instruments, in their cases. And then when you need to pull them out, you do that. Look, I've worked in studios that are 10 by 10, 12 by 12, so no sweat, all right? But there you go. That's the first section of the studio. Now I'm going to take you over to the control center. All right, now shifting over here, this is the control center. This is the most integral part of any studio, okay? And I'm gonna be honest with you, this is pieced together. Some of these pieces are really cheap. Like this desk is from IKEA. I think it was less than $100. And then what's holding this rack over here, you see the rack with the amp heads and all that, that's just actually a subwoofer for the speakers, okay, for my studio monitors. And then if you notice over here, I have a music stand back here and another little computer stand, very cheap pieces, holding this keyboard and this Roland VG99 for my MIDI guitar. Really cool. So again, it doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to spend a lot of money on studio furniture. I definitely would prefer spending the money on the studio gear to get the better quality sound and as little as possible on the studio furniture. But like I said, this is my control center. So I have my keyboard, my trackball mouse, which is a standard in all of the big commercial studios. I have my my pad here, which I love. I have some, as you can see, some hard drives over here. I also have hard drives in the back. This is the Shure SM7B. It's a great microphone, super versatile. I use it for all my podcasting when I'm interviewing people on Zoom. And then I also use it for vocals and guitars, all kinds of things. This is the centerpiece, basically. This is the rack which holds my interface. Now, the interface is an Apollo X8, so I have 8 inputs, which is a great thing. I used to use the Apollo Twin with only 2 inputs, so when I upgraded to this, very helpful. That way I can just leave stuff plugged in and just hit the record button and go. Basically, that is the main unit right here, okay? These other outboard pieces are, I have an Avalon U5 DI, a Redbox DI, DBX 580. I love the little lunchbox chassis to hold your little lunchbox type, preamps and EQs and whatnot. I have a patch bay that I've been using, so that way I can patch different instruments and different lines into the Apollo. And then I have a nice Trident preamp EQ channel strip, which is fantastic. But it's not necessary. And then I have a couple amp heads over here, and you can see all the cables sticking out. Depending on which amp head I want to use, I just get up and plug in each amp. Again, the whole point of this control center is that everything is nice and centralized. I can sit here and I can pretty much reach everything from one space. And then I have this beautiful guitar rack. This was built for me about, 12, 13 years ago by Dave Friedman. That's right, the Friedman amps and Friedman guitars. Dave built this when he had his company Rack Systems. I think he still does that. He's built rigs for the biggest stars of the biggest. Everybody from Eddie Van Halen, Steve Vai, you name it, Steve Stevens, and the list goes on. He built this rig. I love it. We call it the mothership. And it's got these beautiful sliding drawers for all your different pedals. And it actually needs some touching up because I've been intertwining some old and new pedals. Like I added some Strymon stuff. But as you can see, the rack itself is holding the other amp heads. So I have 5 amp heads. I have a Bogner Line 6, a divided by 13, Fender Bassman, Dan Electro, and a Music Man. And like I said, I just switched. Now he also gave me this beautiful Weber, which is a Variac basically, so that you don't have to crank your amp so loud. You can turn down the volume a little bit. And then I just plug in each amp head into the back of the Weber, which is then hardwired all the way around the studio to the closet where I have the amp cabinets, and we'll show you that in a minute. But there you have it. This is the central control center. Okay, so this is what I call the electric wall. As you might be able to tell, I am a telly freak. I have at least another 4 or 5 laying around here somewhere. I want to point this out. Nomad's place up there, and my brother Jason painted that for me. Much love, Jabo Scott. I appreciate it. When we first moved in 7 years ago, I think I had a gig that night and he did that. So beautiful work. Anyway, something that I wanted to say about the electrics. When you're hanging up a bunch of different, especially electrics, you can do this with acoustics as well. But I love this multi-hanger bracket that I found online. You can just drill that into the wall and hang a bunch of them. It gives you that nice angled look. And there you have it. Now some of these other ones I just drilled into these, as you can see, these 2x4s in between these little studs here. And look, it doesn't matter as long as you make it happen, However you do it, get it done. So there you have it, the electric wall of Nomad's place. Okay, so this is the main pedal board of the mothership rack that Dave Friedman built for me. The main brain of the board is the Ground Control Pro by Voodoo Labs. Now, obviously, they have models that are more updated than this because, like I said, this was 12, 13 years ago. But the beauty of this is that Dave wired it. Each row has 3 different menus that you can scroll through. So you have a top menu, a middle menu, a bottom menu. Then for the next row, the same thing. So it's a beautiful setup, and then down here controls which amp you're using at the time, and you can go through all of your banks. So it's a beautiful control center, really user friendly. And then I have a volume pedal, a tuner. I added this Big Sky beautiful Strymon reverb. I love these old Line 6s. They have been a staple since the beginning. Love my Digitech whammy pedal. And you know, I have an old Big Muff wired over here. And then I have some control pedals that actually control the different roll-in pedals up here. I have the B3 kind of Leslie pedal, and then I also have a slicer pedal up here. So basically that's it. Nothing fancy. You know, again, this is at least a decade old rig. But now, as time goes on, what's great about it is it's modular. I can just patch things in and out, and it still works amazingly well. A little sloppy, but this guy never leaves the studio. This is a studio rig that is, you know, just that's what it's for. And you know what? Here's the good thing. This is fun because I love it. And I had Dave build it for me. But you don't need this, especially nowadays with all of the modeling technology and everything that's available. You can get all these tones in one little box. Okay, so I was telling you before, I take my amp cabinets and put them in the closet. It's a great hack. By the way, I have this nice little cushiony platform here, so that way the amp doesn't vibrate on the floor. And then for this other cabinet, I just took some nice thick foam and shoved it underneath there. I have an SM57 Shure on this cabinet, and then a nice Cascade Fathead ribbon mic on this cabinet. So I have two different tones. This is divided by 13, and I believe this cabinet is loaded with a JBL. So, you know, once again, super simple. And then guess what? The closet still serves as storage. Woohoo! Also, throw some curtains on there, cover it up, make it look nice. That way, nobody knows what's actually going on behind there. Okay, so I have this piano set up over here. Initially, this was a birthday present from my daughter many years ago, who can crush some Bach, by the way. And then I figured, you know what? Why not put it in the studio for when clients and musicians come over? So what I ended up doing was ran a USB cable from the control center of my computer all the way over here. So I can change the tones over there, you know, the MIDI sounds and whatnot, and then they can play on real weighted keys. Also, they have their own monitors, so they can hear everything near field. Right here, they can feel the music and they can really get into it. Of course, they can use headphones if they want. And you know what? My thing is, your home studio should always be vibey. That's why I have all these little things around. You know, this harp actually was used for a film score. Okay, now right now it's tuned like that on purpose for that really scary chord. But you can change the tuning, of course. And you know, just having cool little things around is great inspiration when you're creating. This is a balalaika, Russian balalaika. This is a soprano high-strung guitar, which is A to A, but it's really bright strings, a little ukulele. And then I have some nice cable hangers and whatnot. And you know, just do your thing, man. Get creative with it, have fun with it, and be you. Welcome to Nomad's Plays Vocal Booth. Yes, that's right, it's a vocal booth. Nah, not really, it's a makeshift vocal booth. Vocal booth hack. These are pallets that we literally nailed together. Now you might notice this cool little hole. That way you can still see through here and see the producer. So when your singer is here on the mic, la-di-da-di-da, I can still see the producer. Beautiful, okay? Yeah, I have my nice little Sound Deluxe U195 microphone, a good stand, a nice little headphone preamp, plugged in, cables ran all the way around. I have my little arm for my lyrics. You can put a phone in here, little fan. Hey, what else do you need? Almost forgot. By the way, if you're brand new to the home studio space, don't worry, we got you covered. We created a 6-step guide, super easy guide on how to set up your home studio in its most optimum format. Really easy, step by step, easy to follow. So if you're a beginner, we got you covered, all the essentials. And finally, if you are seeking the help and guidance that you really need to put together the most optimum, killer, awesome home studio, we have pro level sessions from home. Now, this is a full-blown course that we've created here at the Career Musician, myself and the team. So we teach you in this course, the full video on demand course, we teach you how to record live drums from home, programmed drums and programmed keyboards, guitars, bass, acoustic and electric, vocals. We teach you how to record a small ensemble like a trio or a quartet, and much, much more. I've taken all of the skills that I've developed over my 3-decade career and packed them into this course. This course is jam-packed and it's very affordable. Why? Because I know as musicians, we have to think about the bottom line. So it's less than $500. This course has well over 30 lessons of information, and you are going to learn from not only me, but all of my colleagues in the biz as well. And collectively, we have a crazy list of credits. No commercials, no BS. It takes you from point A all the way through point Z in a nice, cohesive manner, and it's always there for reference. So again, that's pro level sessions from home from the Career Musicians, and it has modules on guitars, bass, keys, vocals, ensembles, drums, and much, much more.